All right, we are live on Facebook. Happy New Year to everyone. Hello, Asabe. Thank you for coming today
Thank
on the
you. Thank
series
you for
Child
having
Down
me.
Syndrome. So what? Yeah, so I know everyone has missed me. We're live, Asabe, for real. I know you guys have missed the series Down syndrome. So what? Yeah, this is the new year, and how have you guys been? How have you been coping with the new normal? I don't know what to say, but right now I know you guys are just trying to like hang in there. Just keep hanging in there. Like seriously, I know we all have this. We got it, and God will see us through because it's not been easy to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what, Asabe? I think about this pandemic and persons with disabilities, and it shocks you. I really don't know how to describe how I feel because prior to the pandemic, they had been trying to, get people to listen to them. You know, it's been a struggle. It's been like hard, and I feel the pandemic is gonna be like thrice as hard as I just can't imagine. That prior to the pandemic, persons with disabilities were not being heard, and
Yeah.
now pandemic all of last year. So the new everything this is affecting the whole world, but now I'm imagining persons with disabilities, and now I am so thinking about how are they coping, how they've been thriving, because we know when we greet ourselves now, we say, "How have you been coping? How have you been?"
Yeah.
So imagine someone that had been on lockdown like prior to pandemic, prior to lockdown. We never used to know anything like lockdown. Now lockdown is
Yeah.
a come to stay like, and persons with disabilities that have been excluded long before coronavirus pandemic. And so I am really grateful that this series can go on. And so when we talk, so I'm an advocate for Down syndrome, and I'm a parent. So I would like to meet you. I mean, people are watching you all over the world. So can we just meet you briefly? Tell us about
Okay.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Asabe Madaki. I'm not a parent to a Down syndrome person. I am a sibling to a Down syndrome person. And that is why I am here today.
Okay. All right. So what do you do? Tell us about yourself.
Okay,
How are
so
you, sibling? We're all itching to hear your journey. Being a sibling to someone with Down syndrome, and how wonderful that has been for you.
yeah, so I'm a lawyer by profession, and that's what I studied in school. But I also have a passion for media and entertainment.
Okay.
So I do some of that by the side, and I also facilitate for people with disabilities. I
Hmm.
work in NGOs on the side, and at the moment, I'm working on a TV show in Hausa on people with disability because I am from the northern part of Nigeria, Kaduna State precisely. And in the
Wow.
north, a lot of people do not really understand how to treat people with disability. Um, they don't even know, most of them don't even know what Down syndrome is.
Hmm.
Basically, they need to be educated, they need to be enlightened. So that is why I am actually running the program.
Wow, that's so amazing. Can you tell us
Yeah.
briefly about the program?
Okay, the program it's basically going to showcase that there is ability in disability.
Wow.
Basically, yeah. So despite um, the despite that somebody has disability, notwithstanding the disability, the person has an ability in disability. There is something inside of them. They might be different, but they're special. There's
Yeah.
something special about them. So in the program, I invite somebody with maybe Down syndrome and, accompanied by a parent, by a sibling, and then we talk about their experience, and then we would ask what they like to do, what is their strength, and then they tell us, then we showcase the strength of the person, and then we give them a gift on the show.
Can I have you in Lagos right now, please? I'm so loving that. I would like some of our parents in Kaduna to connect with you, and it will be so amazing. Wow, wow. I
Yeah.
know. Can you tell us part of what inspired you before we get to your journey with your
Yep.
sister? Part of what
Part
inspired
of
you?
yeah, part of what inspired me is the fact that, yeah, I have a sister with Down syndrome, but I never really thought about, doing a program to enlighten and educate people in the North about disability. That is why I'm even shooting the program in Hausa so that I communicate to everyone.
Wow,
So when I
that is
started facilitating for NGOs on people with disability, basically on their human rights, whether they have human rights or not, when I started doing that, I got to discuss with some of them on a one-on-one basis.
hmm,
When they told me their experiences, we have those that are blind, those that have Down syndrome, those that, use crutches to walk and all of that. When I had discussions with them, what they told me, I mean, it had me in tears.
wow.
Yeah, it had
Hmm,
me in tears. And I'm like, no, somebody has to speak for these people. Somebody has to be a voice for these people. And for
yeah,
me, since I see media as a platform to reach out to a lot of people, I said, okay, fine, how do I reach to people in the North on people with disabilities so that they understand how to treat them, so that they understand how to relate with them? How do I reach out to them, even their siblings, the parents, the communities? So I'm
hmm,
like, I should do a program because basically in the North, most of the time you just see them on the streets begging and then that's
hmm.
it. So if that's their life, some of them told me their experience. Like one told me she went to look for a job. This is a graduate. She suffered in school, the whole stress where you have buildings. They're not even considering that there are people with disabilities in the building. So her friends have to carry her and all of that. And then she's a graduate, speaks English,
Oh my
very
God.
good student. She went to look for a job or for a job interview. And then the owner of the company saw her and he said, please, we don't entertain beggars here.
My gosh, don't say that.
Yeah, yeah, that's what she heard. That's
Wow,
what she was told, and they gave her money and give her her CV,
wow.
and I'm like, oh my God.
So
So
ridiculous.
even in the workplace, there is no opportunity for people with disability. So I started to think about it, and I'm like, okay, somebody has to speak up. These people can actually do something for themselves. And I met a lady um, who could see all through her life. And then all of a sudden, she went blind.
Wow.
So, people sometimes don't understand that you can be complete today, but
Yeah,
something can happen to you and then you will lose your ability. So,
absolutely.
what would you do? So that actually just a lot of stories just inspired me. Some of them were raped. So, just a lot of stories, good, bad. So I was inspired by that and said, okay, I need to do something about it.
Hmm. This is so, I don't know. I really don't know. Well done, Asabe. This reminds me of when we started the advocacy journey for persons with Down syndrome. We used to look for people, interpreters in house. We do like a walkathon. We can do a 5 kilometer walk, 10 kilometer walk. We've been doing this since 2015. And I just realized that people used to stare at us. And then, we share flyers, and some of them would never want to collect the flyers from us. Then some people would actually stop us and say, "What are you people talking about?" And we tell them we're talking about, this type of disability, people with disabilities, that you should not hide them, and you not bring them out and everything. And people will be like, "No, no, 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 God forbid, it's not their passion. They don't have such people in their families." And like, we chose
My
to,
God.
understand? So
See,
along the line,
that's the ignorance,
it is.
you know? Yeah.
Along the line, we had to get interpreters in Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, so that while we're doing the work, they speak in different languages, just for people around to understand that those people don't need to be locked indoors. And a lot of people say it cannot happen to them. God forbid. Even people have told me that I must have disobeyed God one way or the other, for having a child like that, and I needed to ask for
Mhm.
forgiveness. This kind of.
Mhm.
So that will take me to my next question. You've introduced yourself to us, and I want you to share from your heart how you were able to cope with having a sister with Down syndrome. How was it growing up with your sister? I want you to share the beautiful moments. Okay, let's talk about the stigma first. Was there any time you felt stigmatized? Your sister was rejected? How has the journey been?
Yeah. It wasn't easy, to be sincere, because, most of the time, even the parents do not know what the problem is with their child. So my parents did not know my sister had Down syndrome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they didn't understand what was
Hospital,
wrong with her.
sorry, they didn't tell her from any hospital.
No.
Oh, wow. So at what age did they know?
Later on, after some time, that's when they knew that okay, this is called Down syndrome and that's what their daughter has.
Wow.
But for us, the siblings, because our parents did not understand, it was kind of strange. Why
Hmm.
do we have a sister looking, she has, her features just very different from our own,
Mm-hmm.
and then she didn't walk till she was 5. She was
Wow.
crawling in her stomach. Yeah.
5.
Yeah. They develop slowly.
No, 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
She didn't walk till she was 5. She was crawling like a snake. So people said
Hmm.
she was demon possessed.
Hmm.
Possessed. Even my parents took her to different prayer houses, you
Hmm.
know, and what they told you that probably you sinned against God, so it was
Hmm.
God punishing you. That's why He gave you that kind of child. That's what they told my mother. That my mother must have sinned, and then God is punishing her. That is why He gave her a child like my sister who has Down syndrome. So for us,
Wow.
the siblings, we really didn't understand it. You know, we'll ask her to do something, she doesn't answer us, she's not talking like we're talking, she's crawling. It was frustrating for us. So sometimes, even as she grew up, she started working and all, we used to we used to beat her. We never knew her eyesight. She couldn't see very well.
God.
Till Yeah, till my family moved abroad because of her. Because both my parents are medical personnel, so they moved abroad because of her after we all graduated from school, so she would have a better life. So they moved because of her. When they moved, that's when we realized that my sister could not really see. She was practically kind of blind, so she needed very thick glasses, like her glasses are thick. When my mom called me to tell me that my sister didn't used to see, and I remember beating her a lot when I say, "Get this for me," because we're trying to teach her, but we were beating her, teaching
Like,
her.
honestly.
You know, when my mom told me that, I cried. I cried and I said, "God, forgive me. I didn't know." You know, all my siblings, we all had that experience. We cried. We said, God forgive us. We didn't know. We thought we were trying to teach her by beating her, by forcing her, you know, but we were wrong. And how did that happen? Because nobody told us, nobody educated us, nobody enlightened us about Down syndrome. Nobody told us. So that's the problem. And that is why some people lock up their children when they have this ability. They just lock them. Nobody sees them.
Asabe, I'm so emotional. Honestly, you can't believe I'm just crying here, sitting here crying.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you know why? You know why? Why
Uh,
when you said was crawling on her belly and she walked when she was 5, I just remembered somebody that was working that wanted a job with me. So she kind of started working like briefly with me, and she was on and off. Then one day, I'm talking about far back as 2016. One day I asked her why she's not stable, and she just told me that she really loves those children. But her auntie said that they are snakes, that are snakes, and that if she continues to work with us, she would have to move out of her house for real.
oh my God. Oh
So
my
when
God.
crawling with their belly, and that is how people just define them. you know,
Yes.
they are possessed, they have evil spirits, they are demonized. That's even someone has told me before that they are reptiles. I'm like, how do you define a human being like that? So when you said crawling on her belly, she wasn't walking, I can imagine. For a lot of people, they would rather just choose to keep the child locked indoors because of the stigma, because of the
Yes.
lack of education. And now somebody's saying, you know, and I remember vividly the very first time I posted my daughter's photo on Instagram, somebody called her an animal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can imagine up
My
north.
we tried to put my sister in school, you know, normal school. So we took her there. You know, one day before my parents went to pick her, she decided to just walk out, and the teachers were not watching. I don't know what happened. But I mean, my sister was stoned by other children. They
Stop.
stoned her. I mean, yes, they stoned her. I cried. I'm talking about it now. I'm teary, you know. They kept stoning her because they felt she's a demon possessed or an evil spirit because of her looks.
Yes.
You know, their features are different from ours, so they were stoning her before
Oh,
my parents
yes.
got there and picked
Maybe I
her. She was bleeding, you know. So
live. I should
it's
have. I wasn't ready for this.
I've never told you my story. We all have our story. So it's very, very difficult for the sibling, for the parent. So anybody that I meet that has someone with Down syndrome, it's automatically like family to me. You know, they just become family to me because I know what they've been through. It could be worse than my own. Mine could be worse, but I know they've gone through a lot. I know that. So we had to take out my sister from school. We had to take her out. We just had to homeschool her in the best way that we could. And you know, in the north, I'm so proud of what you're doing over there in Lagos. Like I'm super proud of what you're doing. In the north, we really don't have things like this, like in Kaduna, we really don't have it. So you have parents with children with Down syndrome and they really don't know what to do. And then the children, we parents with normal kids don't educate their children. You know, we go out with my sister and they're staring at us. Like everybody's staring and you know, not staring in a good way, staring in a bad way, like mocking way. Like I've walked with my sister before and a kid spat on her.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So when my parents moved abroad with her, I went to visit, I went out with my sister, and I saw the love. Oh my God. I wept because I was super happy that some people love my sister. You understand that they love her. They see her, oh mercy, and they hug her, they kiss her. They're not scared of her. They're not irritated. They're not disgusted, you know. They just absolutely love her. So I'm like, why is it different over here? Then I realized that they educate them, they enlighten them on people with disability, and then they treat them specially because there's people with special needs. They have special schools for them. Everything is special. They have carers for them, but not here. Here, it's like once you have a disability, that's it. You're not even part of the society. You're not human anymore. I'm telling you. So it was a good thing that my parents moved, basically. So when they visit now, I am super proud of my sister. I go out with her. If you like, stare at her. You're staring, I'll stare back at you. She's human. She's my sister, and I love her. Because you see, they're so warm. She is so warm. She's the warmest in my house. She will make you happy. She can
Hmm.
sense when you're worried. She'll come and say, what is wrong? Are you okay? Are you okay? She'll make you laugh, make you
Oh my
happy. So if for me, if my sister doesn't like anybody, I'm like,
God.
do you understand? I'm like, why doesn't she like this person? There must be something because she's so warm, she's so welcoming, she's so loving. I mean, I've never seen people that love like them. That's the honest truth.
Absolutely. And now you're making me feel, actually, I've always known that God didn't make a mistake. But from what you're saying now, I have actually concluded that they are created lovers. I don't know if that my English is correct because I've not
Yes.
a parent, I've not heard anybody say otherwise that this child with Down syndrome, is cruel. We are the
No.
ones that are cruel. I've
Yes.
I've never heard it. All I hear is about ergs, about them being warm, about them caring, about them checking on you, like, are you okay, mom? Is everybody okay? Taking care of
Yeah.
people, like seriously. And I cried, oh, I've been crying, and honestly, that you said that it stoned your sister. Ha!
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it, it's breaking me into
And
pieces.
she
And
was
I know
bleeding.
she was bleeding.
So, yes.
And nobody
Stoning.
stopped.
Nobody stopped. Adults were watching kids stone my sister.
Just because she looked different.
Yes. Just because she looked different.
Wow.
Yeah.
I, guess what? Do you think this kind of like stigma, rejection, or whatever is still happening in the north?
It's
Like
still
this
happening.
so in
It's still happening. It's still happening till date. It's still happening because a lot of people are not enlightened about these things. So we need to enlighten a lot of people
it,
on people with disability, on people with Down syndrome, on people with disability generally. They're really stigmatized. They're really just pushed aside in the society, like they're not humans, like they don't mean anything, like they don't add value, you know? But they add the value that you and I do not even give.
hmm.
Yeah.
What how would you describe so after the story, when you started homeschooling your sister, I know you must have felt, oh, it's better for me, for my sister to be safe than for us to have her in the school where she'll be maltreated and everything. How did you notice that she picked up? Like, what was her
Well,
progress? She walked at
so
5. You said she walked at 5 years old. Can you
yes, yeah.
tell us about her progress and if she had any medical issues growing up?
Yeah, she has this hip problem, like her hip bone is out of the socket. She has
Okay.
that. She's living with that till date because they told us if they do a surgery, it's a 50-50 chance, And if it's not successful, then she would be on the wheelchair for life.
Wow.
So yeah, so we just picked the option of her being on painkillers every day. So sometimes she's in pains, she's in pains, and then sometimes she's just fine. Yeah, she's had that. And then um she picked up gradually. She her spelling, even to teach her ABC was very hard. Before she learned how to write her A, before she learned how to even spell her name, it was really hard work. You really, really have to be patient. And that is
Mm.
why I feel that there are special teachers that do teach people with Down syndrome. It's not for people like me because while I was teaching her, I was getting frustrated. I'm being honest. I was getting frustrated. I'm like, can she just understand this thing? Can she just get it? But she's different. She learns at a slow pace. So, but what she's good at when she moved to the UK, realized that she's good at painting. She
Wow.
loves music, yeah. So she can sing a song, even if she's not pronouncing the words like as I would. But you would know that she has actually learned this song and then she loves to dance. Oh my God.
Something about dance, I don't know.
She loves to dance. She loves to dance. So, and
Wow.
then she paints. She loves to cook. Oh, she
Wow.
loves food. If you give her food, she's happy when I give her food. Oh, thank you, Asabe. I love you. Then she'll give me a hug and give me a kiss because I've given her food. She loves food and she loves to cook. When you ask her to cook, she's the happiest at the moment. She will cook for you, cook for everybody, and then she knows how to clean, like clean very well, like spotless. She's very neat. When I mean neat, when she keeps her stuff, you move it. No, 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 no. She will keep it so neat, fold her clothes, everything. We taught
Wow.
her that, yes,
You
and
taught
she
her right
learned it.
into that.
Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. So
So
in UK, because she knows how to cook and everything. She worked at Pizza Hut as a
me,
volunteer. Yeah, you
wow,
know, it
those
was it
opportunities.
was beautiful. So my mom would send us the pictures, the videos. It was really beautiful. Like,
You must be
you're happy that your sister is doing something for herself.
alive. Yeah.
So they may not be doctors, they may not be lawyers, but they have something they can give to.
Hmm.
Something they can do. Yeah. And then
Wow.
she
That
loves to paint a lot. She paints really well.
so. Well, can you So do you think that given she, of course, she had better opportunities abroad. What do you think? What do you think should happen to our educational system in Nigeria? I don't know. Okay, let's start from family. As a sister, you've been through the journey with your sister, and you know what worked and what didn't work. What do you think families should begin to like embrace? Because a lot of families are still like in denial. They think that eventually their child will learn. Yeah, it's true, but they don't feel you need to. Like someone sent me a message that she doesn't think. Someone said a daughter doesn't need therapy.
Oh, they
What
do.
do you have for families? What do you want to say to families?
Okay, so you see, for families, first of all, I would say to them, show your Down syndrome daughter or son a lot of love. That love is going to push them to do whatever it is you want them to do. It's going to push them to learn. It's going to push them to be better. But if you don't show them love, they will get back into their shell. They know when you don't love them. They know when you're maltreating them. They
Absolutely.
know. They know. They feel it. They know it. They see it. So we need to show them lots of love. And number two, we need to be very patient with them. You have to be patient, you have to be tolerant because their IQ, their intellect is not like your own.
Hmm.
It's not like your own. It's not even close to your own. They think like children. They're stuck there. So you have to be the adult for themselves, for them.
Yeah.
So you have to be patient with them. You have to tolerate them because they're basically children. In short, infants. So they grow, they develop slowly at a really slow pace. And you were talking about the education. We will come to that aspect. But for the family, you need to love them, be tolerant, be patient with them, very patient with them. And then you need to encourage them in love. When they do something, you know how you praise your other kids when they come home, they're number one. When they get to write that one, the number one, rejoice with them, encourage them. They know, they know these things, they sense these things. So that is what I would tell families. And then try to study and do your research on people with Down syndrome. Don't listen to those that will tell you they're demon possessed, they're from the devil, or they're of the devil. That's
Hmm.
not true. That's not true. They're from God. We all are from God. The
Hmm.
same God that created us created them, and it is not a curse.
Hmm.
And it's not because somebody sinned. Don't listen to the wrong voice.
That is so common. People say that a lot. I'm like, really? If God is gonna punish people for their sins, then what about those that killed, those murderers?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's ignorance. It's ignorance, pure
Yeah,
ignorance.
yeah. And then another thing is families should not be ashamed.
Hmm.
That is really killing a lot of families. They're
One.
ashamed of their sibling, so they hide them.
Hmm. That is one of the reasons why I just said I was gonna like start. I think I started this talk series in 2019 or so because I realized, okay, 2015, the first time I said I was gonna go out with a group of people that I knew that they were in sync with my vision. We said we're gonna like have a walk around, go to marketplaces. The theme we chose was no more shame. That was the thing. That thing just popped into my head like definitely must have been God. I just said, okay, why? I realized a lot of people, they even want to help this child. They don't even know where to get help from. But the first
Hmm.
thing is they're ashamed that they have this child. Society makes
Yeah.
them feel that there's something wrong with you.
Hmm.
Definitely for having this child. So that was the first thing we tried to like, debunk. Like, it's not about you, really. It's not really
Yeah.
about you. We're just caretakers, and it's not your fault. Get it? It's not your fault. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that, like a parent. I spoke with a parent 2 days ago for the first time, and she was saying she feels like killing herself, like for
Oh
bringing
no.
a child, to the world. And I'm like, don't be too hard on yourself. It's not your fault. It's just
Yeah.
because you need to understand. Let your family, extended family, whoever cares, whoever matters in your life, know that it wasn't your fault. It will never be your fault. And for every day a child with Down syndrome or disability will be born. It's not what you did wrong.
And
So for the
and you know, you're saying sometimes accidents happen and you lose your ability, like the lady I was telling you about. She
yeah,
just became blind. I
Hmm.
have a friend who's on a wheelchair now, through an accident. So anything can happen, anything, and it's not your fault.
Not your fault.
But how do you live with it? How do you cope? So if you're ashamed, it's because a lot of people are ashamed. That is why others are not even enlightened. So you
Yes.
have somebody with Down syndrome, you should be an advocate, talking
Hmm.
and enlightening people about it. There was a time that my younger sister used to just leave her mouth open and saliva would be coming out, so I would always be wiping and cleaning. I took care of her a lot because she's next to me, so I would be wiping and cleaning for her, you know and I lost friends because of that. Some of my
Wow.
friends, they come around and they're like, and then once you do that, man, you're not my friend anymore, because I
Hmm.
love my sister. I love her to bits.
Absolutely. I can
Yes.
see.
So, but later on she became normal, she was okay. So I even used to choose my friend through my sister. If you don't love my sister, come on, move on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going out, I go with my sister, I come to your house with my sister. You don't
Hmm.
want me, yes. Yeah.
Oh,
You don't
you're
I
so
will-
incredible,
Growing up, that's
honestly.
what I did. That's what I did. If you love me, you have to love her.
Hmm. I hear you.
Yeah.
I, yeah. The it's sad that um our educational system is such that they are not trying to accommodate persons with disabilities. Even if they try this, they say they're not, because
Yeah.
there are no accommodations, there are no provisions. Some of the schools or school owners need to actually wake up to reality and understand that even someone in their family could be in this position tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they are not as like prepared, like they don't even have plans. Let me put it that way. But I like that. I like that in the Western world they have provision for everybody, even the
They
gay
do.
community. Imagine, just imagine, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, and it just boils down to the beliefs, our cultural beliefs. Remember when they used to kill twins,
Yeah. Yeah.
and trust me, there was a time persons with Down syndrome were institutionalized in the Western world, and
Mm.
someone has to stop it. And that's why we're raising our voices today. And that's part of why, like I said, this talk is very important to me because I cannot say it enough. Like, I can't even shout it enough that we just need to give them a chance, give them an opportunity to thrive. Like you and I, we always beg people to give us an opportunity. If someone says, okay, Asabe, you cannot sing, what will you tell the person? Just give me an opportunity, give me a try.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
This is what our kids are trying to say to people. This is what they're trying to say to, like, even when I see the teenagers and I see all the creative things they can do. And now imagine I add like 10 more years to their ages. I'm like, by the time they clock 30, I hope the community will be able to accept them, like help them just to continue to live because they just want to live.
Yeah, I was watching a video online of a lady with disability. I don't know if you posted it or somebody else posted it and I watched it. Now this lady has a bakery. She loves to bake. She has Down syndrome. But she's managing her business. She has employed people. They keep baking, She's talking, she's not fluent like all of us. But
Yes,
she was communicating and she's the CEO. You
yeah,
know, Parents have put her through, they've helped her. She's managing her bakery. She enjoys baking. And
yes,
now she's making millions of dollars from baking.
yes. And
Yeah.
there's Grace Strobel. I think she lives in New York. She's a runway model. She's 24 years old, and
See?
she just got signed up by one of those very popular designers. Can't remember the name. Is it Louis Vuitton? But I know it's one of those big names. Do you understand?
Yeah,
In
yeah,
Nigeria, we've been trying so hard to get them be seen, be heard, and so what you and I are doing now is we're being a microphone for them. You
yeah.
understand? Exactly, because we know that they are saying something. They're not just being listened to, so they cannot be heard. So
Yes,
we just need to keep, showcasing, promoting, letting people know that they have something to offer.
they do. They
And
do.
the stigma is so I don't know how to explain it. Like even some people they will show you like they love your child or like that don't worry that they're taking care of your child. When you turn your back, this yimu.
I know.
Not that they will literally yimu, but they will not say what they have promised to do with
I
your
know.
child. They will not like put give it their best because
I
they've
know.
just this child will not come and kill me. I've tried my best to teach this child. This child cannot learn, but they actually do not understand that they have to learn how the child learns. Like if a child cannot learn the way you teach, you have to teach the way the child will be able to learn. So
Yes.
it takes a lot of you. It takes a lot of it takes a lot of determination. You understand? So when I see people working with me and I look at my team members and I see the way they work, I'm like, this must be passion. And guess
Yeah.
what? Passion can never be enough. They need the skills, they need to learn, they need to be open to ideas. They need to know that
Yeah.
people are different. If this child will not learn 1 to 5, maybe you can start in another way. So I mean, it takes a lot of work, a lot of you tweaking, giving options, especially giving options.
Yeah. So you see, for our educational system, they need to actually specially train teachers to work with people like that. It's a
Yes,
special training. It's not the normal kind of curriculum that we have, the normal kind of training. No, it's a special kind of training. They need to invest and actually train these teachers specially because they're going to teach special people. But we
absolutely.
don't we don't we don't invest in that.
Asabe,
We
you're
don't
talking
invest.
you're talking of teachers from the hospital. Do you know what they tell parents? Okay, I beg, come out, I beg. You don't know what your child gets, and most of them have about 50% of them have had diseases. And I've heard this story before because I myself referred this parent to the hospital, and she told me that a nurse said, "I beg, I don't know. Let me speak pidgin because that I will translate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch this pikin before he go die for my hand though. Now special pikin." The nurse was saying she doesn't really know how the baby is like, breathing. She doesn't want to touch the baby before the baby will die, and they will say she killed a special child. That this is a special case, a special child. She cannot handle it. Blah blah blah. In front of the mother, that is not an educated nurse. Sorry to
Yeah.
say. So we
Yeah.
get all these things, and I'm like, when are we gonna ever get it right? There's someone commenting here. Great topic and enlightening. What I observe when we talk about people living with disability here, it seems people with Down syndrome don't know if this is the right word for it, are barely remembered, as you rightly pointed out. Advocacy will go along with, okay. Yeah, I mean, she's just trying to buttress some of our points.
Yeah.
Well, because of the intellectual disability, they
Yes.
they cannot. So let me explain this. Someone with polio eventually may get a job somewhere, maybe an
Yeah.
organization, maybe they'll be mandated to employ someone with disability. But
Yes.
Down syndrome, they say they are imbeciles.
I think that should really be done, mandating organizations to create job opportunities for people living with disability. Yeah,
I think
like Down syndrome, yes, they feel they're imbeciles. They say that a lot. Yeah.
apart from advocacy, like I love your project. Can you tell us a bit about, I mean, you said it before, but is there a way you talked about the project that you're working on? Is it a film production or something?
No, 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 no. It's like a talk show.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So I bring in the person with Down syndrome or any other person with disability who has been able to do something for themselves, whether the society has seen it or not, whether it's just in the house, we share their strengths and their
Mm.
weaknesses. And then we talk about whether they've been stigmatized. And if they have, how did they handle it? How did the family handle it? How did the person with disability handle it? And then we talk back to the society and tell them to accept them and show them love. They just need support. They just need love, and then they'll thrive.
What do you think? Let me quickly ask you this. Because this year, what has been ringing in my head is year of acceptance. Year of acceptance. Why? Because last year I approached some eateries despite COVID. Okay, between October, November, December, when everything went down a little bit. And I wasn't saying for them to say, yes, bring the youths with Down syndrome, because I had a few people on my list. There were ages between ages 16, 18, 19, 25. I wanted them to
Yeah,
be greeters. Like there are popular eateries around. I just wanted them to be greeters. People would come in, they could stand from afar and just greet. I wanted them in that environment where they had transactions going on, buying, selling people, that eatery, that environment. So they feel that, okay, I can be in this, I can be, apart from me just being at home or just being in a place where I'm learning something, like learning a vocation or something, I can be out there in the community. I can be
yeah,
useful in the church. I can be useful in a bakery setting. I can be useful. Look at, we have a lot of what's it called, occupations for where they can thrive in other countries. I can be a traffic warden. I can be. We don't have those things. So I wrote various eateries that, okay, can we have some of our kids? I mean, students, because they're not children. They're
yeah,
19, 18, 25. Can we have them as waiters or greeters? And definitely, I knew I wouldn't get an answer. So that's where my heart goes to. And then I began to think of acceptance, acceptance, because we do it, doing a lot of advocacy, awareness. Now, acceptance is, I come to you, you open your doors to this person with Down syndrome. How do you think we can drive that like strongly this year? And it's about you and I trying to like do this together, because we know at the back of our minds that it's not about us, but we know
yeah,
that each other to survive. Truthfully, without you coming online, I would have said, okay, let me do a solo stuff. I mean, I know that's another thing I'll be trying to do by myself. But people are listening to you all over wherever this is being played, and they have listened to your story. Someone has been encouraged already, and as a member of World Pulse, it's an organization. I mean, it's a platform where women share the stories. You think your story is, oh, very, very bad. When you hear other people's stories, you would keep
yeah,
quiet.
yeah. I
Quiet.
know.
I mean, people need to listen. The woman that was saying she wanted to kill herself, I'm like, if you hear other people's stories, you will not want to kill yourself. You count yourself lucky for having
Yes.
a child like this. So I'm thinking acceptance, acceptance this year is really big on my mind. I'm like, how do you think we can get people, to help us drive acceptance? I love what you're talking about. I mean, what you're doing in Kaduna already. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we can do that through programs. you can reach a lot of people on TV, a lot of people on radio. So we enlighten and educate people on people living with Down syndrome. We have to have platforms like that. You can talk to radio presenters, like, oh, write to them. Could you talk about people with disability today while you're doing your program? Say something about them on TV, on radio. We can have them, like you have a school where you have people with disability. We can have them do stuff, and then we share it
Why is it
online.
difficult for them to say yes? Is it because there is no money we're gonna like give them? I don't know. I'm just asking. You
Yeah,
know what?
it's
I reached
it's
out to
part of it. It's part of it, and because a lot of people don't even understand what that is, they haven't. It's so far away from them. They
a
haven't lived it. It's so far away from them. You see, it's just like the Boko Haram story, the Chibok girls. I was part of a movie called Voiceless. So, and I played the lead role, one of the Chibok girls kidnapped, raped, beaten, just life on camp with the insurgents. Now, living that life, normally I live my life normal. I hear Boko Haram, they've taken these people, they've taken that. It's just news to me, like, okay, hey, God help them, and I keep living my life. But when I went to shoot the movie, I
wow.
lived life. It was resonating to me. It sank. I felt it. I lived it. I cried.
Hmm.
Do you understand?
You make me
It it,
cry.
it came it
God.
it became home to me. It was no more news. It was
Hmm.
no more news. So you need people like us who have
Oh.
experienced it, who know these things, to go and talk about stuff like that. Okay,
Hmm.
if we're writing them, it's not just about writing them, it's about going to see them, sit with them, tell them about our experiences, tell them what it means to have someone with Down syndrome, tell them how loving these people can be, tell them all of this. Then it might ring a bell. But you just write, or it, it doesn't ring a bell, it's just another letter.
Let's
It's
another.
just another letter. You
Wow.
understand?
When
So
you said
going there you go in there, you can go with one of them, let them see how this person is like. They're humans.
hmm,
They're not some evil people.
hmm,
Then it resonates with them, it rings a bell, but without that they don't understand it, to be honest, they don't get it.
hmm, hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everyone watching us today. This is the first episode of My Child Has Got Down Syndrome. So what? And today we've been online with Asabe Madaki, a sibling to a beautiful. How old is she?
She's
How
30.
Wow, a beautiful 30-year-old lady by name Mercy with Down syndrome. She's thriving. She loves cooking. As Asabi has shared with us how our sister was stigmatized, rejected, and abused, mistreated, stoned to the extent that she was bleeding. And if you've been watching from the beginning, I cried on this show. But it's a cry. It's a cry. Asabe has been enlightening us on how the community needs to accept persons with Down syndrome. I haven't
And
lived with. Sorry, you want to say something?
yeah, I wanted to add another thing. Yeah, we could do a movie on people with Down syndrome. Get a
Absolutely.
Down syndrome person to act in the movie.
I've
It's
been
gonna
looking for
make,
that
it's
opportunity.
gonna make a huge impact. People
Absolutely.
would understand it better. So That's our
Yes,
plan.
we go about that.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Talk
We'll
about
plan
it,
it.
and
But
God will.
yeah,
Yes,
it's going to make a serious impact.
yes.
It's going to make a serious impact. A
I
movie
you. I
on
believe.
that.
I believe you.
Yes.
I really, really believe you, honestly. And thank you for sharing from your heart. You see, one thing I know is that I'll keep telling parents is we never know how far that child can go.
Yeah.
Don't look at the disabilities. And before we go today, I just want you to give one last word for parents, or because today I'm gonna be saying that if you want to like join in this advocacy or acceptance challenge for persons with Down syndrome, you are most definitely welcome to join in, because I believe this year is a year of acceptance for them. We've been talking about awareness for too long. So, and that's why we're looking for comforters, ambassadors, comforters, yeah, for people that can use their platform to talk about this so that many more people can get to understand what this is all about. So, before you go, Asabe, before we end today's session, I would love you to leave one last word for parents of persons with Down syndrome that are still struggling to understand this condition or that are already getting tired. Oh, I think I lost her for a moment. Did you hear me?
Yeah. Could you say that again?
Yeah, I said one last word for parents that are already getting tired and parents that are still struggling with understanding this condition or cannot bring themselves to accept. There's
Okay. Yeah.
families
So
that cannot bring themselves to accept this, or families that are tired. What do you have for them before we close for the day?
okay, what I have to say to them is that they should take it one day at a time. One day at a time. They should take it one day at a time. That's the only way to go about it. You might be tired. I would give them example with my parents. Right now, we're all grown up. My sister is the last. We're all grown up. We're all doing our thing. But my sister is with my parents. She keeps them together. They have
Hmm.
that love for her. They have somebody, they have company. You might feel you may not need this child later. You would
Hmm.
need the child
This is
later.
so.
Absolutely. That child might be the one taking care of you. Now, my sister is the one taking care of them even as they're in UK. She's the one taking care of them. She helps my dad make tea. She helps my mom
How amazing.
clean. You would call my parents and you see my sister trying to help out, trying to. So we're like, oh, okay, they have somebody there, they have somebody with them. So take it one day at a time. They're a blessing, they're not a
Hmm.
curse. And one day, being patient, you will find out for yourself. So let's take it one day at a time.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. I totally agree with you. Take it one day at a time. Words from Asabe. If your mother getting tired already, just take it one day at a time. If your father getting tired already, take it one day at a time. You'll never know. I mean, you never know the role. Like you know the role that your child is your child. You love your child, but as you grow, you never know. You now begin to know why God put that child in your life. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
And your child will be the one to take care of you. You don't know if your child is going to be the one to be with you, like in your old age.
Yeah.
Like Asabe is testifying now. Our sister is super amazing. She's been the one holding her mom and dad together, like supporting them in their old age. And now we've come to the end of this session for today. It's been an amazing time with you, Asabe. And
Thank
honestly,
you.
someone is saying that I absolutely agree with the movie idea. It's really gonna work. Thank you, Alima. I know that's gonna work. And thank you, Basi. Oh, Basi says, great session, Asabe. Asabe, thank you for sharing from your heart.
Thank
Hon-
you.
I'm so happy that um, I cried. No, I'm talking seriously about it because a lot of people feel, oh my God, this is the end of my life. This child,
No.
that, this. It's okay. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry, really. But I mean, if you bring bear it all, like, and let people accept your child for who your child is, then I think we'll gradually be able to bring the stigma to an end one day.
Yeah.
So much, Asabe. I really, really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
time with you. And yes, we're going to be doing some projects together, hopefully by the grace of God. And
Yes.
I wish you a safe 2021 and
Thank
success
you.
in your projects. And please
Thank
give
you.
my love to Mercy.
Oh, she'll definitely meet you.
So she's the reason too why you're doing some of the amazing things you're doing today, the amazing work you're doing today. I mean,
Yes.
she's the reason why you can also be on the Gwen platform where we met,
Yeah.
and your awards and everything. She's the reason. So there is
Yeah.
always
She's an inspiration, to be honest.
there's always good. People look at them as evil, but there's always a good. I mean, there's always good in anything bad. I don't know if I'm making
Yes.
sense. Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
just have to keep our hearts open and everything. I really, really enjoyed this time out with Asabe Madaki, sibling to a sister, to Mercy, who is with Down syndrome. And it's been an inspirational session with you. I've been able to draw a lot of inspiration from you as well. Thank you for being resilient. Thank you for being helpful, for being loving. Thank you for everything you do. God bless you,
Thank
Asabe.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us, everybody. We're going to be uploading this video on YouTube so you can share the link once you get it. Have a nice week and bye for now.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you. Do I end?
Yeah, you can end it. Thank you.
Thank you.